What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Absolute Batman 2025 Annual #1. This is from like 2 weeks ago, and David Warren Johnson is the main writer of the first big storyline. Then there's like a second and then kind of a 2-page thing at the very end. But yeah, so this came out 2 weeks ago, and I'm just kind of catching up on it now, as well as the other remaining comic books that I never got around to finishing up. So I want to get this video out there really quickly, and then I should be all good for a new comic book day tomorrow. So in case you don't know, this one is an annual, so you don't necessarily have to read it to understand all that's going on within the world of Absolute Batman with like Bane and all that stuff. But this is, like I said, it's an annual thing, and sometimes the annuals you can get good, interesting, self-contained kind of storylines. And this one has kind of 3 bits right there, but the main one is kind of the more impactful one, I should say. And basically, it's Batman versus like the Klan in essence, like the KKK, Nazis, whatever you want to call them. Not very nice people, and we also get to see a very brutal, well, we've already seen a brutal side. This is Absolute Batman. The guy's chopping off limbs within the first issue, but here he's like snapping bones in half, and he is literally setting people on fire, and he's basically kind of the Punisher in this thing. But we open up with the issue with the conversation between Bruce and his father. He knows what he's good at teaching, and I know what's good about you too, kiddo. And so that kind of, get a little bit of thing at the beginning, like, yeah, there's good stuff in you, Bruce. But then you just see him like setting people on fire with a fucking flamethrower. I mean, these people look dead as hell, but apparently they're not, I suppose. But yeah, it's Batman with the flamethrower. I mean, that's a cool looking image right there, but this is just such a brutal take on Batman that even Zack Snyder would probably be like, okay, that's a bit much for me. I say that jokingly. So, yeah, so anyways, so we see Bruce going, and he's going to some pawn shop in some kind of slummy area to kind of get some weaponry for his stuff, non-lethal, of course, even though he pretty much kills these people, like they're not going to be living again. And he gives the money, gets the stuff, but then he sees somebody getting picked on by people wearing pig masks, and he beats them up, and even the corrupt shop owner who's selling him all this stuff kind of hits him from behind. But then the leader of this, basically this KKK type place, Nazis, whatever you want to call them, not very nice guy, and is about to kind of take him down. But then a priest jumps over him and is like, I've seen you since you were kids and all that. Like, the priest shows empathy towards even kind of some of like the worst people, like, and they kind of stop from killing him altogether. And then we have a moment where this priest and, Bruce Wayne have a little bit of a conversation together about like him protesting and that in the past. And we come to find out that this priest actually had connections to Thomas Wayne and all that too. So, but then he heard that, then Batman hears about the stuff in the slum area going on. They also torched his truck, and sometimes you have to like, peace isn't an option, and you have to kind of go and take action and all that too, because sometimes there's just some really bad people out there that they just need to be taken down. And the priest, he doesn't know what's necessarily the way to solve something, but he knows like an extreme brutality just doesn't feel like the right thing to do. And there's a bit of that conflict in there by the end of the issue with Absolute Batman. Obviously, he doesn't stop his brutality if you look at Absolute Batman in the first issue, because this is clearly set before when he gets his monster truck. But yeah, so we got these people that are gonna be like, one of them is yelling white pow, and then right before he can say it, fucking Absolute Batman just snaps his bone. But also, I just thought of it, like, I know this is very off topic, but I'm thinking back to like the Chappelle show, when Chappelle had like his Clayton Bigsby character, I think was the name of it, where he was just the black white supremacist, and it just kind of making me chuckle thinking about him at one of these rallies. That's a topic for another day, but I don't know, like that just to imagine him in this little segment right here just kind of makes me laugh. But yeah, so he beats the living shit out of all these people, and the priest even kind of gets in the way. He's like, no, this isn't the way, but this is my way. And he just literally takes the flamethrower, and he gets his little giant monster truck thing and just starts setting these people on fire. And even like as they're basically like pretty much dead, the priest still kind of comes in and is like trying to like care to them, even some of the worst people around, because he still has that basic like empathy, even just for the worst people around. He still wants to help. And there's a conversation between the two of them. He's like, you have your way of doing things, this is my way of doing things. And the end of the issue is Batman looking like at his hands, just kind of weeping, because he saw how bloody and violent he had become in a world that's just the worst. So this is a world built in like Darkseid's like image. So it's absolutely brutal. It's cruel. It's unforgiving. But even the worst, there's still moments of like with the priest there still even helping those that were doing him wrong. I don't know, like that just made, him look like a really nice guy, I suppose. So I thought the ending moment too, where he just had to kind of sit there and weep at kind of what he's become, was a very effective ending to the thing. So, overall pretty solid stuff, I suppose. And then we get the Sanctuary storyline, where it's kind of like these churches are kind of like changed around and stuff, and people are looking for sanctuary, but some brutal stuff happens there. Batman comes in, kind of saves the day, and that's kind of like the gist of it. I don't have too much to say about that one. And then we have a little bit of a backup thing, learning about bats, and you see kind of Batman in this world. At first, I thought the girl right there looked a little bit like this version. I guess maybe I was thinking Cassandra Cain, but it's probably not going to be her. Who knows if Cass even exists in this world? Because like the only one I think Scott Snyder said doesn't exist is Damian, because well, he hasn't met Talia, so he physically can't exist. But I know Dick Grayson exists in this world, so that'll be keen to see how like that factors in at some point. So so this was Absolute Batman 2025 annual number 1. It's got some pretty memorable imagery in it, because like David Warren Johnson drew and wrote the series, so he made it very brutal and graphic, and like there's some pretty cool shots in there. Like look at that shot of Batman in the rain. This is my way, like just Hulk Batman. I mean, good God, how many steroids is Absolute Batman taking this thing? And the funny thing is, like, wow, look how jacked this guy is. And then you see like fucking Bane in some other stuff, and it just goes so excessive. And I haven't seen stuff also on Absolute Joker, and it's just gonna be even worse. So I'm like, I'd respect Batman for just leaving this town. Can we get some Superman in there or something? Because this has just gotten so excessive in some ways. But so with this particular issue, there's some memorable imagery. It's just Batman fighting, just not very nice guys, and showing some real brutality that maybe even Zack Snyder would think is a little bit too much. And, throwing a little jokes at Snyder too, because, he had his Batman branding people. Absolute Batman's like, hold my beer. I'm going to cut off limbs and I'm going to just set people on fire. Which Michael Keaton's Batman did too, now that I think about it, Batman Returns. But in the Burton Batman films, those things are like Looney Tunes cartoons where you can just strap a bomb to somebody and I'm sure they'll probably be fine, because that's just kind of the world it occupied. So it didn't really dwell on that so much, like pure torture. It's just like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure these people will be fine in some capacity later on. They'll be severely scarred or something, but I'm sure they'll be fine. So, but it's certainly a memorable issue. I'm sure some people will get into this and others won't, but hey, that's comic books in general. So check it out. Give it your own opinion, and I'd be keen to see what other people would say in the comment section on this particular issue. So sorry again, I'm 2 weeks late on this one, but just a lot of stuff in the way, and I just never got around to sitting down and just focusing and just reading to talk about it. So yeah, and again, I don't know, I know I didn't say much about the second and kind of like third last page or two storyline, but honestly, I didn't really have too much to say. Like it was just, honestly, it should have just, I would have rather just kept like the first storyline as the annual and just let it be at that, because I thought that was a pretty effective like single issue storyline. And plus we get to see how we got this monster truck of a Batmobile, which, makes the Tumbler look like a smart car. So yeah. All right, well, those are my quick thoughts on it. What did you think of it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to let me know what you think and all that other fun stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. Hit that bell for notifications, all the other fun stuff. And I got the this other DC KO tie-in to upload after this. And then that should be it in terms of my DC books for the last 2 weeks of catch-up and all sorts of other stuff. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video.